So today we are talking about apps and tools that work well with Pipeline. Is everyone excited, I hope? I am. So the reason we're going through these is because it's kind of similar to what we were talking about with the super user tips a couple weeks ago. Just having tools at your fingertip that work well with Pipeline or really complement what Pipeline already does can save you a ton of time. It can just make things a lot easier to actually process. So we've got a nice little handful of tools that will help you. So the tools that I'm going to talk about today will kind of cover two broad categories, ones that are integrated with Pipeline and then ones that are outside of Pipeline that, again, complement Pipeline, but that you can use anywhere throughout computer, in your browsers, etc., and we'll specify which they do when we get to those points. Those will be the two categories that we cover. So to start, let me hop over to Pipeline. Okay, so the first integrated tool that I want to talk about is DocuSign. Probably already aware of that, but once you, under your personal profile, specify your DocuSign credentials, and I'm already connected, so it says disconnect. But if you were not connected, there'd be an option to connect to DocuSign. Once you do, you will see different DocuSign options throughout Pipeline. For example, on transactions, you can send docs to DocuSign, right? Really easily, just specify which docs you want to send and send them on over so that they can get executed. And then once they're executed, bring them back over to Pipeline. So easy transfer to DocuSign. Also, when you're on unassigned docs, you can import from DocuSign. So if you've got any docs, they'll be listed here. Just click on them and then say import, and they'll come over to unassigned docs. So simple integration into Pipeline from DocuSign there. And then also you can do it from, I believe, from reference, right? You can send docs to DocuSign there. That's up top now. Send to DocuSign here. Okay. Likewise, over under unassigned, you can import docs from Dropbox. So if you've got a Dropbox account and you store some docs there, you can specify which docs you want to bring over and then import them into unassigned docs. Okay. Also, you guys have heard us talk about Zapier and our integration with Zapier and how Zapier is a third-party tool that allows you to connect different systems or tools. So we participate in that. So if you've got another tool, say Gmail or a CRM system or anything that actually integrates with Zapier, let me hop over to Zapier here. You can connect the two systems. So Zapier acts sort of as a glue or an interface between any two or even more different systems so that you can share that data. And for us, what that means is you can send your Pipeline data over to some other system. Again, whether it's email, you want to send an email at a certain point, typically when, let's say, a transaction closes and you want to automatically have an email sent, or maybe a transaction closes and you want to send that information to a particular spreadsheet or report, a Google Doc. So you've got those different options of integrating Pipeline's information with whatever other systems that you use that you also use Zapier. So huge, powerful ability to share that information. Right now, we send over you've got the ability to send over transaction information whenever a status changes in the transaction. In the future, we'll add more what they call trigger activities. So whatever will trigger when information gets sent to Zapier. And if you've got more questions about that, we've got some articles about it. Would love to talk to you about that, help you get set up. Because again, it's just such a powerful tool for getting the information you want when you need it and sharing it with the applications that you need to see it in. Okay, so that is Zapier. And you can see here, if I were to, Paperless Pipeline is the applications that's listed there to be able to integrate. Okay, so that is Zapier. And then the last integrated tool that I wanted to talk about is under tasks. And that is the ability to send your task information or sync it to whatever calendar you use, whether it's for iCal, Outlook, or Google Calendar. And it's really that simple. You just click the link to go ahead and integrate with a particular calendar, and they'll ask you to add that calendar, and then it'll be synced, right? So here you can see I've got a synced calendar already, so you can see all of these tasks that are displayed on my different days so that I'll get reminders about them, etc. Basically utilize the calendar features, the native calendar features to view and get notified about tasks. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so those are all the integrated features that I wanted to talk about. Now let's talk about some that are external to Pipeline, but again, complement the things that you do in Pipeline. The first is the ability to forward multiple emails at a time. A lot of offices, or some offices, will, instead of communicating or sending information through Pipeline, they'll have a lot of information going back and forth through their personal emails. And instead of forwarding them to Pipeline one at a time, they'll wait until the end and then just forward them all at once. And in that case, it's helpful to obviously be able to forward everything directly in one action, but Chrome in particular won't allow you to forward multiple messages at a time. Some other systems will, but Chrome will not. So there is an extension called Cloud HQ, thank you Hollis for that tip, that allows you to be able to forward multiple emails at a time. So if, let's say I wanted to forward these 3 messages at once I've installed Cloud HQ, which I'll show you real quickly how to go get that in a moment. Once I've installed the Cloud HQ extension, this little forward arrow will appear, and I can click that, and then that allows me to either forward these messages individually, forward them as one merged email, and it'll merge the body, or I can even forward them as an email, a PDF attachment, right? So nice options there. I'm going to forward this as a merged body just so you can see what it looks like, or one email with a merged body, and you can see merges the email nicely so that I can forward it as one message. Okay, so super helpful tool there. And the way that you get that extension is you'll always see the little apps icon here. When you're in Chrome, you can just click it, go to the web store, and then search for Cloud HQ there and add it to Chrome. Okay. So that's the first outside extension there. The next I want to show you is URL shortener. And that's just a super helpful, very visual feature that when you're sending information to clients, and you're copying a web URL, instead of having to include this really long, maybe even multiple lines long URL, you can shorten it and then send that much more palatable short URL. Whatever URL shortener you want to use is, perfectly fine. I'm sure the one I particularly like to use is appropriately called URL shortener, and by Tim Leland, who I have no idea who that is, nor am I affiliated with him, but I like it because it gives you the option to select which carrier or which provider of the URL that you want to use. And I don't really mind which one it is, but I know Bitly and TinyURL are 2 popular ones. For the longest time, we used the Google shortener, but they discontinued that earlier this year. So again, I like this one because it supports all the different carriers of URLs, and all I need to do to convert whatever URL I'm on currently is to just click it, and it automatically copies it so that I can go somewhere. Let's say I'm in a message. And let's go to this one here. Let's say I'm sending a message, and I go to the note email section, and I can just paste it, within the body of my message. Okay, so in one click, I've got it all copied, and I can paste it wherever I need to use it. And that could be helpful if, let's say, you're referring someone to, let's say an MLS link, or, maybe you've got a doc in some other location that's got a long URL and you want to link them to it within the body of your message. Okay, so URL shortener, super helpful and very palatable on the eyes to be able to use it. The next one is, oh, I love this one. It's a text expander. Sometimes a lot of people refer to them as being able to paste snippets. But a text expander will allow you to type or a few characters or a key command and paste in longer information. So let's say I paste my signature a lot, right? I can, I've got my signature set to be tied to the key command Control-Shift-S, right? So if I type Control-Shift-S, it automatically pastes my signature, right? I've also got it tied to, maybe you don't like key commands as much and you want to just tie it to a few distinct characters. I've also got it tied to a particular set of characters. So if I type ppsig, it also fleshes that out. And I'll do that again because it went kind of fast. PP sig, right? It automatically does that. Okay. And that's helpful. You know, it could be your signature that you're pasting in. I know you're all aware that you can use the save message templates. Those are, we definitely advocate those because you can insert default information from your transaction as well as many other features, including being able to share them, etc. But that's when you're doing a full message, right? So that'll paste in a full message. But again, sometimes you just want to put a bit of information, maybe a paragraph, maybe a signature like I just mentioned, or some other bit of information that's not a full message, okay? And also the message templates only work in this message field here, whereas the text expander or the snippets you can use anywhere on your computer, right? I could be adding a comment here, I can use them here. Maybe here I've got a text snippet that is for missing signatures, and I think that is, right? So I put SIGs and it automatically expands out maybe a common blurb that I say when a doc is missing signatures, or when a task needs to be done, etc. So just huge opportunity there to save a ton of typing, no matter what field you're in, no matter whether you're in pipeline or not. Other great benefits of that tool are I can also store dates, or excuse me, I can also automatically insert dates. So I've got one that automatically does today's date, Control-Shift-D, right? Or the time, right? So I've set that up to be able to do that if I paste those in regularly. I can even set it to do date calculations. This is what it looks like when you're setting it up. I've also got one set here for doing a date calculation. So I want to do a message, or maybe I'd regularly create a message that shows that please complete the attached items by a date, which is a week from today, right? So I can do that date calculation. That way, whenever I insert that, and again, you can't see that here from my other screen here, but whenever I insert that, it automatically does that insertion. Okay, it's only doing it only on my other screen here, but you get the point that you can set up a calculation for based on today's date if you want to. Okay, so you can get super advanced, or you can just use the simple key commands to insert text that you regularly use. All right, and then the last little tool that I wanted to show you, I kind of saved the most exciting for last just because it's kind of neat. Most people know how to do a screenshot from your keyboard, or some systems will allow that, and you can do screenshots that way. But we really love a tool that allows you to specify exactly what area you want to capture. So particularly, let's say if you're training agents, or you just want to share information, whether it's from Pipeline or maybe something outside of Pipeline that you want to share with an agent that will help them within Pipeline. Whatever it is that you need to screen capture, you can use this tool, and it's called Jing. So if you click there, the way that this works is there's always this little sun down here, right? If I want to capture a particular area, I can either click here, or there's also a key command I can use to get it. And maybe I wanted to show, this particular part, right? And I can easily screen capture that, save it, or copy it, or share it, etc. Okay, so super easy to do a screenshot, but even more fun is, let's say I wanted to really show, let's say, an agent exactly what I want them to be doing. Start the video, wait for it to start, go ahead and record, do something, right? And then finish. And then once I'm done, I can, just like I could with the screen capture, either save it, share it, and this will share it in the cloud so that I don't have to actually store it anywhere, or cancel. And I can preview it again, and then, just to make sure it looks good. Okay, and this is a free tool, by the way. It only gives you, I think, 5 minutes max, but if you're talking for longer than 5 minutes, you might need to go see the person in person or something, unless you're doing training videos, but there are other tools that allow you to go longer there. But anyway, so that's it for today, and the features and tools that allow you to work more efficiently in Pipeline and hopefully save you a ton of time. Okay.